Examiner, March 10th, 1847. These emigrants are almost totally unprovided with clothing, without sufficient provisions, and scarcely with strength remaining to leave the hold. It reflects disgrace upon the regulations of the government that creatures in this condition should be suffered to proceed to sea, with no other dependence against a long and enfeebling voyage than the kindness of persons whose treatment of their passengers is hardly less brutal than that experienced from the masters of slave ships.
Dober večer, ravnatelj, dr. Šepetavc, starši in prijatelji, učitelji in učenci. Poseben pozdrav pa tudi učiteljem in učencem iz gimnazije Novejši Lazlo iz Vestrma na Mađarskem.
Good evening, Headmaster Dr. Šepetavc, parents and friends, teachers and fellow pupils. A special greetings to the teachers and pupils from Gimnazija Novejši Lazlo from Veszprém in Hungary. Welcome to our Shamrock Shindig, Kate Milefalce, or 100,000 welcomes. The tune of our first song this morning, Paddy's Green Shamrock Shore, can be traced back to the early 1700s, and over the years, the various musicians have added their own lyrics.
Our lyrics deal with the forced emigration of Irish people between 1845 and 1847, which was the period of the Great Famine in Ireland. And as you heard in the opening reading from our local newspaper of the time, the passengers were treated brutally on their voyage to New York.
Well, let's continue on a lighter note.
Hey Connor, did you hear that Ireland is the fastest growing country in the world? Its population is constantly doubling.
We're going to go on the road to Dublin, and that road can get a bit rocky.
Road to Dublin, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hunt the hair and turn and down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin and back for Lonely Rock. In Mulligan, the night of rest and leave, so weary started by the light, his spirit is bright, and never took a job and a good. Kick me hard for sinking, that's the day's skill. Whenever he's on ticket to see the last is small, laughing all the while at me curious style to search your father, but in an ST5 was fun. Wages I regretted, I was nearly tired of the rocky road to Dublin and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hunt the hair and turn and down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin and back for Lonely Rock. In Dublin next I ride, I thought it's such a pity to miss so soon the bright the view of Bedford City, but then I took a stroll. All among the quality bundle it was slow, all in it locality something crossed my mind. When I looked behind the bundle could I find upon mistake a wobbling guy for the road, set me cannon broke, wasn't much in walk on the rocky road to Dublin and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hunt the hair and turn and down the rocky road, all the way to Dublin and back for Lonely Rock.
Absolutely beautiful. Our next song is called Nancy Mulligan. Nancy Mulligan was written by Ed Sheeran, believe it or not, telling the story of his grandparents, William Sheeran, a Protestant from Belfast, Northern Ireland, and Anne Nancy Mulligan, a Catholic from the Republic of Ireland, who met and fell in love during the Second World War, married at the Wexford border in the Republic of Ireland. It's a touching ballad that highlights the strength of the human spirit in difficult times.
I was 24 years old when I met the woman I would call my own. 22 grandkids now growing old in a house that your father bought. On a summer day when I proposed, I made a 20 from dentist school. But I asked her father, but her daddy said no, you can't marry my daughter. She She and I went on the run, don't care about religion. I'm gonna marry the woman I love, down by the Wexford border. She was Nancy Mulligan, I was William Sheeran. She took my name and then we were one, down by the Wexford border. When I met the guys in the Second World War, she was looking at the soldiers' fort. Never had I seen such beauty before. The moment that I saw her, Nancy was my yellow rose, and we got married very close. We got 8 children now going old, 5 sons and 3 daughters. She and I went on the run, don't care about religion. I'm gonna marry the woman I love, down by the Wexford border. She was Nancy Mulligan, I was William Sheeran. She took my name and then we were born, down by the Wexford border. From a small white streak and a jet black hair, 60 years I've been loving her. I'll be sad but I'm fine, I hold on to you know Nancy, I adore you. From the sunbird born in Belfast town, I never worried about the king and crown, cause I found my heart up on the southern ground. You know Nancy, I adore you. She and I went on the run, don't care about religion. I'm gonna marry the woman I love, down by the Wexford border. She was Nancy Mulligan, I was William Sheeran. She took my name and then we were born, down by the Wexford border.
Patrick Fleming was an Irish highwayman who robbed, murdered, and maimed the rich and poor alike, before being hunted down, imprisoned, and executed. Whiskey in the Jar tells the story of his betrayal by his lover Molly. It was written around the time of Cromwell's invasion of Ireland, 1649 to 1653, and many versions have been recorded over the years. Now, please give it up for our very own Professor Jerman and Gasper and Whiskey in the Jar.
As time was going over the Cork and Kerry mountains, I saw Captain Farrow and his money he was counting. I first produced my pistol and then produced my rapier. Stand and deliver, or the devil he may take ya. All of his money, and it was a pretty penny. I took all of his money, and I brought it home to Molly. She swore that she'd love me, but never would she leave me. But never take that woman, for you know she tricked me easy. But shouting da-ba-do-da-ba-da. Whack for my daddy-o, whack for my daddy-o, there's whiskey in the jar-o. Being drunk and weary, I went to Molly's chamber, taking my money with me, but I never knew the pistols, and I shot him with both barrels. Yeah, my shell ring, da-ba-do-da-ba-da. Whack for my daddy-o, whack for my daddy-o. There's whiskey in the jar-o. Some men like the fishing, some men like the fowling, some men like to hear the cannonball roaring. But me, I like sleeping, especially in my modest chamber. But here I am in prison, here I am in a ball and chain. Yeah, my shell ring, da-da-do-da-da-da. Whack for my daddy-o, whack for my daddy-o. There's whiskey in the jar-o.
Please, I need a microphone, you can just say it.
Okay. Hey Connor. Well, I guess I'm gonna improvise. Hey Connor, did you know that my grandma was 80% Irish? Her name was Iris.
A lovely woman, wasn't she? Shame that the English got to her. Anyway, no Irish session is complete without a story being told, and many myths and legends have come out of the island. This one tells the story of a king's ears, which resemble a donkey's?
A long time ago, in ancient Ireland, there lived a king named Lori Longshot. He was a very troubled king, because he had to keep a great secret. He had donkey ears. Every day he wore his crown pulled tightly over them, so nobody would see them. This became a big problem every time he needed a haircut. To keep his donkey ears a secret, he had every poor barber who cut his hair killed. Now, in King Lori's kingdom, there was a young man named Donald. He dreamed of becoming a famous barber, but his mother did not approve.
You're my only son. What if our cruel king asks you to cut his hair? You would be killed.
Donald's mother wanted him to become a great hero instead. Then, one day, a messenger from the king's court knocked at the door. Donald had been chosen to be the next unfortunate barber to the king. His mother became very worried. It wasn't fair that Donald should be put to death. She raced as fast as she could to the king's palace, but the guards would not let her pass. So she knelt at the palace walls, weeping and wailing all day and all night. Her cries could be heard for miles around, and the king's dogs whimpered at the sound. Eventually, King Lori thought his eardrums would burst with her terrible screeches, and he went out to speak to Donald's mother.
Why are you screaming and crying outside my palace? I haven't slept a wink all night.
She pleaded with the king.
I'm in despair because my son Donald is to cut your hair. Please, do not have him killed. He is my only son. If you don't spare his life, I will stay here and wait for him for the rest of my life.
King Lori was moved by the woman's grief. Also, he could not imagine having to listen to her cries any longer. He promised to spare Donald's life on one condition.
Your son must swear not to tell anybody what he sees when he cuts my hair. Not a word to anything with eyes or ears.
Donald promised to keep King Lori's secret. He cut his hair and was allowed to live. But he soon became very ill. His mother was worried. and asked him what's wrong.
It's the king's secret. I can't think about anything else, and I can't sleep. Worst of all, I can't tell anybody.
His mother took him to see a druid. The druid listened to Donald's problem and said to him,
The cure is obvious. If you can't tell this terrible secret to anything with eyes or ears, you must tell it to an old oak tree.
Donald went to a river nearby and whispered the king's lorry secret to an old oak tree, like the druid had told him to. He immediately felt better. It happened at this time King Lorry's favorite musician was looking for a new harp. He had searched for one throughout the land, but he could not find a harp with the perfect sound. He was walking by the river, and when he saw the old oak tree, he thought to himself,
The wood of this tree would make a beautiful harp.
And so, he cut a branch from the tree and made himself a harp. That evening, the king ordered music after his grand banquet. The musician walked to the center of the room with his new harp, and everyone remarked how beautiful it was. As soon as he played the first note, the harp suddenly started to sing, all by itself. Lorry Longshaw has donkey ears. Lorry Longshaw has donkey ears. Lorry Longshaw has donkey ears. King Lorry jumped out of his throne in a furious rage. His crown went tumbling off his head and fell to the floor with a crash. There was silence in the room as the king's soft, furry donkey ears stood tall and proud for all to see. The king soon discovered that he felt much better now that his secret was out. After a few minutes, nobody took any notice of his ears. He realized that it really wasn't a big deal. He also realized that there wasn't any point trying to keep a secret in Ireland. He felt happier and more relaxed than ever before. In fact, the whole kingdom was a happier place. Thanks to Donald, all the barbers in the kingdom were saved from certain death. This made him a great hero, just as his mother had always wanted. Donald was delighted too, because his own dream of becoming a famous barber came true. He was promoted to Royal Barber. The end.
A truly wonderful story. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to welcome on stage our friends from Gimnazije Lovaši Lazlo Veszprém.
herzlich begrüßen und Entschuldigung, dass ich jetzt widerspreche.
Lep pozdrav vsem skupaj, tole bo v nemščini na kratko obrazloženo, zakaj pravzaprav gre pri tem nastopu in jaz bom tako prevedla, pa prosim, brez zamere.
Aber ich möchte nur ein paar Worte darüber sagen, was wir singen.
Nekaj besed o tem, kaj se bo pravzaprav pelo, ker bo tudi nekaj mađarskih pesmi.
Ja, also in Ungarn gibt es zwei große Flüsse, die Donau und der Theiß. Und hier gibt es 3 Lieder über den Theiß.
To se pravi, 2 glavni reki na Mađarskem in pesmi, ki jih bodo peli o reki Theiß.
Ja, und in dem ersten geht es darum, wie schön dort die Jungen und die Mädchen sind. Sie werden durch Bäume symbolisiert.
Prva pesem bo govorila o tem, kako so lepa dekleta in fantje v tej regiji in simbolizirajo jih drevesa.
In dem zweiten geht es die schwere Arbeit der Fischer.
Druga pesem govori o težkem delu ribičev.
Hier kann man fühlen, wie sich die Boote bewegen, eigentlich ein bisschen.
V pesmi lahko začutimo, kako se gibajo ladje, čolni na reki.
Und in dem dritten geht es wieder ein Boot, aber hier sind schon Geliebte drin. Und wenn es nicht mehr gerudert wird, der Ruder wird runtergelegt, dann kann man sich umarmen.
Torej, v tretji pesmi gre prav tako za čoln, kjer so zaljubljenci in ko se čoln več ne poganja, takrat se lahko zaljubljenca tudi objameta. Ja, kaj problem, kaj ne bo za Ja, prva pesem je po angleščini in gre v kontekst tega našega lepega večera. Also bitte schön, schön.
mondulat, mondulat. Ty szabadja, jegenje fal virág. Vízbe hull és minden alszik, terem még a jegenye fal jegenyét, jegenyét. Szerelik a szép lelkét, terem a jegenye fal jegenyét, jegenyét. A szép lelkét. Harangoznak a toronyban, járt a rózsám a labikomba. Vízvetőben csöndesen csónakázunk, összebújunk, sejtünk meg ne fázzunk. Vízvetőben csöndesen csónakázunk, összebújunk, sejtünk meg ne fázzunk. Ring a csónak galambon, ne félj benne, jaj, de azok az evezőre. Dobogását hallod-e a szívemnek? Leteszem az evezőt és fej, de megölellek. Dobogását hallod-e a szívemnek? Leteszem az evezőt és fej, de megölellek. Sejhaj, megölellek!
Going back to the theme of immigration, our next three songs tell similar yet different stories. Expansive Hill was composed in the 1850s and tells the story of a young man who emigrated to the United States but wishes to be back home again in Ireland. The orphan girl was forced to go to Australia, and in the fields of Athenry, we have a young man who stole food for his family and was sentenced to transportation to Australia.
Last night as I lay dreaming of pleasant days gone by, me mind been bent on rambling to Ireland I did fly. I stepped aboard a vision and followed with a will, and I shortly came to anchor at the cross on Celju hill. It being 23rd of June, the day before the fair,
island sons and daughters in crowds assembled there. The young, the old, the brave, the bold came to fulfill their jovial conversation at the cross of Expansive Hill. I went to see me neighbors to hear what they might say. The old ones all were dead and gone, the young ones turning grey. I met with Taylor quickly, he's as bold as ever still. Sure, he used to make me bridges when I lived in Expansive Hill. I paid a fine visit to my first and only love. She's as white as any lily and gentle as a dove. She threw her arms around me, saying, Johnny, I love you still. Oh, she's now the farmer's daughter and the flower of Expansive Hill. I dreamt I held and kissed her as in the days of yore. She said, John, you're only joking like many times before. The cock crew in the morning, he crew both loud and shrill, and I awoke in California, 10 many miles from Expansive Hill.
Australia
that don't just send out anyone. Oh Lord, don't see me fail. You'll sail me away. Say you'll to Australia. Ah, yeah. Say
My lonely prison wall, I heard a young girl calling.
Michael, they have taken you away, for you stole rebellion scorn, so the young might see the morn. Now a prison ship lies waiting in the bay.
Low lie the fields of earth and rye, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wind, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of earth and rye. My lonely harbor wall, I heard a young man calling. Nothing matters, Mary, when you're free. Against the famine and the crown, I rebelled, they caught me down. Now you must raise our child with dignity. Low lie the fields of earth and rye, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wind, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of earth and rye. My lonely harbor wall, she watched the last star falling, as she lived and hoped and prayed for her love at Botany Bay. It's so lonely round the fields of earth and rye. Low lie the fields of earth and rye, where once we watched the small free birds fly. Our love was on the wind, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of earth and
Hey Paddy, do you know what's the difference between an Irish wedding and a funeral? At the funeral, there's one less drunk.
You sure know about being a drunk. Now, let's move on to Thomas Davis, who was a Protestant Irish nationalist, writer and poet. He was born in 1814 and died in 1845 at the age of 30. Davis believed that his poetry could have a strong emotional impact on people. He pleaded for an Irish nation, the Irish language, and preached unity between Protestants and Catholics. The West's Awake refers to the provinces of Ireland, keeping the vigil with the Anglo-Normans who had invaded Ireland in the 12th century.
When all beside a vigil keep, the West's asleep, the West's asleep. Alas, and well may Erin weep, when Connacht lies in slumber deep. Their lake and plain smell fair and free, mid rocks their garden chivalry. Sing, oh, let men learn liberty from crashing wind and lashing sea. That chainless wave in lovely land, freedom and nationhood demand. Be sure the great God never planned for slumbering slaves a home so grand, and long a brave and haughty race, honored and sentineled the place. Sing, oh, not even their son's disgrace can quite destroy their glory's trace. For often in O'Connor's wan, to triumph dashed each Connacht clan, and fleet as dear the Normans ran, to Corlus Pass and Adrahan, and later times saw deeds as brave, and glory guards Clan Ricard's grave. Sing, oh, they died their land to save, at Aughrim slopes and Shannon's wave. And if when all a vigil keep, the West's asleep, the West's asleep, alas, and well may Erin weep, that Connacht lies in slumber deep. But hark, some voice like thunder spake, the West's awake, the West's awake. Sing, oh, hurrah, let England quake, we'll watch till death for Erin's sake.
We now have a warning for all women of all ages. Never associate with old men. It can only lead to problems.
An old man came courting me, hating Durham Day. An old man came courting me being young. An old man came courting me, offered to marry me. Maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. 'Cause he's got no flurum for little liar. He's got no flurum for little liar. He's got no flurum, he's lost his endurance. So maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. When we went to church, hating Durham Day. When we went to church, me being young. When we went to church, he left me in the lurch. Maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. 'Cause he's got no flurum for little liar. He's got no flurum for little liar. He's got no flurum, he's lost his endurance. So maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. When we went to bed, hating Durham Day. When we went to bed, me being young. When we went to bed, he lay like he was dead. Maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. 'Cause he's got no flurum for little liar. He's got no flurum for little liar. He's got no flurum, he's lost his endurance. So maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. So I threw my leg over him, hating Durham Day. I flung my leg over him, me being young. I flung my leg over him, damn nearly smothered him. Maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. 'Cause he's got no flurum for little liar. He's got no flurum for little liar. He's got no flurum, he's lost his endurance. So maids, when you're young, never wed an old man. When he went to sleep, hating Durham Day. When he went to sleep, me being young. When he went to sleep, out of bed I did creep into the arms of a handsome young man.
Hey Paddy, remember when we went to that pub and the barman asked you, your glass is empty, can I get you another one?
Oh, I remember, and I told him, why would I need 2 bloody empty glasses?
Well, our final item this evening. We sang about whiskey in the jar, and where would you find whiskey? In an Irish pub, of course. Headmaster, honored guests, parents, friends, teachers, and fellow pupils. We hope you have enjoyed our little shindig this evening. Special thanks go to Mr. Marcic, Mr. Yerman for their singing and music, and Mr. Britošek for not having a heart attack. Thank you and good evening. The Irish Pub by the Boys. Mr. Britošek up to the stage.
Not just me. tell them yet.